assuming that Hudson got it, and they didn't immediately discard it, which they probably would have. Because when you think about it, what is the last good Hudson game you have played? Go to their website, their gaming website, not their corporate website, and look up the games that they have come out with recently. Bloody Roar 4 is still listed on it. And when you think about the gems that they've come out since then, like, you know, Bomberman Act Zero, which is basically an abortion to the series. They came out with that other sort of old school style Bomberman, but their damage had already been done with Act Zero. But, yeah. Name a good game that Hudson has come out with recently. Now try and name good games that Hudson has come out with and get beyond one hand. Because I sure as hell cannot name anything. Hudson's like the Japanese Acclaim. They're just not doing anything right. But and that's the funny part. A lot of people blame Konami for Bloody Roar 4 being so bad. All that Konami did was basically the marketing for the game. So the only thing you could really blame Konami for Bloody Roar 4 was advertising it too much, giving too much airtime for such a bad product. I remember going on GameFAQs and seeing advertisements for Bloody Roar 4 like in that huge sidebar. And I remember thinking, oh God, please do not be horrible. Because they were advertising it with Xeon, which is like the worst thing you could do when your whole basis for the game is people turning into beasts. This is why Yugo was the front man for the series for basically the entire time. Because he's the perfect model for what the game is about. He's this big guy who apparently has ridiculous man boobs, who can turn into this huge, ferocious wolf. That worked. And really the only other person you could do it better with is like, you know, Sheena. Jenny is a really bad choice to me because she doesn't actually turn into a bat. She turns into some like bad cosplay Halloween version of a bat. You know, the kind that the slutty girl next door will do just to get attention. I hate Jenny, but that's a whole other argument. Basically, they were setting themselves up for failure on this one. But, it just pisses me off. Because, basically, Hudson has all but given up on the Bloody Roar series. And it's frustrating to me because they never really did it right. Even when you look back at like Bloody Roar 1 and Bloody Roar 2, those were still flawed games. Really, because flawed if for nothing else than because they never really did a good job of getting them to catch on. But yeah. I've basically run out of stuff to rant about for that, so I guess I'll catch you later and I'll keep working on the Shenmue review. Wait, I forgot something. Back to the story. If you go back to Bloody Roar Primal Fury, that's where... Oh, jeez. That is really where they started to not explain anything. Because, sure, they said that there was some sort of playing tournament thing. Okay. But what were the individual characters doing? There was actually explanations for that. It's just they weren't in the instruction book, and they sure as hell weren't in the game. There was explanation of what they were doing before the game started. And the place that they were was on the Bloody Roar website. Seriously. BloodyRoar.com actually went down, but there's still caches of it that you can go to And if you click on the characters, you'll find these plot explanations of what's going on. And you just wonder, why couldn't they put this in the game somehow? And back to that, this reminds me of how they destroyed the character of Sheena. Because when Sheena came along in Bloody Roar 2, they present her as like this tomboyish badass. You know, she beats the shit out of her adopted father for her ending. And supposedly she took down a platoon of soldiers while basically unarmed. And then you get to Bloody Roar 3, and she basically walks away from the establishment and becomes a mercenary. Then, if you read the thing for Bloody Roar Primal Fury, what her supposed beginning is, supposedly she's going after Kronos because apparently they knew each other from a village. Okay. Funny thing is, when you go from 2 to 3 to Primal Fury, in Primal Fury, Sheen's character makes this dramatic change. And you can see it particularly in the costume choice, where she goes from being, like I said, a tomboyish badass, to basically a cover girl model. Because if you look at her character model, she's wearing nail polish, and she's wearing really bounce-tacular clothes. And it's basically this huge dramatic character shift from what she was before. She's wearing pink, something that she never, ever do based on the character choices from the last few games. And then you get to Bloody Roar 4, and supposedly she was with some kind of military establishment again, even though she walked away from it in the previous one, and they were going to bomb the shit out of the sanctuary, which I wouldn't have minded. That would have been an interesting ending, and it would have killed Ryoho and Mana so that they couldn't come back in future Bloody Roars if there were any. Which I'm really depressed to say this, but there probably won't be, because Hudson basically killed it. Well, I shouldn't say killed, because that suggests they did it intentionally. I believe that somewhere in Hudson's convoluted system of order, they thought that they were doing good things with Bloody Roar 4. They weren't. So, yeah, I think I'm seriously done now. So, you know what? I just need to play something else to calm down. And I need to get a new copy of Bloody Roar 2, because the one that I have, it's really scratched up, and the sound is starting to cut out, and the graphics are starting to flash, and yeah, I need to find another one. Oh well, see ya. Okay, I thought of some more stuff. What were they doing with Shen Long? Long? Okay, he's a hermit. I get that. He's going to sit at a table, drink tea, and not talk to anybody. I get that routine. But Shen Long was supposed to be like this crazy clone version of him that enjoys killing people. But then you get to the Bloody Roar 4 ending, and he basically goes, "Oh, I redid the seal. Glad I can help," and walks off. Then, this actually reminds me, I never understood why they made the choice of switching Bloody Roar 1's Fox, taking him, giving him boobs the size of his head, and calling him Jenny in Bloody Roar 2, and keeping that character. Because Jenny is basically like the stereotypical Charlie's Angel character that I hate. Supposedly she's like this model / secret agent. It's like that Pam Anderson show.